The roster for KOF 15 is slowly becoming my favorite roster in the KOF series. The developers of the game have managed to bring back so many beloved characters that I personally like and that are fan favorites, and also characters that haven't been in a KOF game for a long time. Even though so many characters that I like have been brought back, for example Chizuru, Chris, Shermie and Yashiro, those are the characters that I really wanted to see in the game, I still feel like there's still just a couple of characters that I would like to see in KOF 15 before I say it's my favorite character roster in the KOF series. So here's a list of characters that I'd like to see and that I feel like should be in KOF 15. The first character that I think should be in KOF 15 is Mei Li, simply because she was one of my favorite characters in King of Fighters 2001. In KOF 2001, Mei Li was one of my mains, honestly. I just really liked her fighting style. I think she should be in KOF 15 because she could bring a lot to the game. She's a stance character, so I don't really know what her fighting style is, but basically she has a normal stance and a superhero stance. I feel like stance characters in general are being erased from fighting games, but that's a whole other topic for another video. But I feel like that alone makes her interesting. She's also a character who's, I guess, let's call a kicker, a character who most of her moves are kicks, and I've always been a fan of characters whose moves are kicks, like King for example. I think kicks are just cool in general. I think Mei Li could also bring a lot to the game by showing her dynamic with Kim. Kim was her teacher, she was a student of Kim, so it would be cool to see what Kim thinks of Mei Li now in KOF 15, or also to see how her fighting style has evolved, or if they could make any changes. It would be interesting to see Mei Li in this game, and I feel like she's one of those characters that I was really hoping would be in the game by now. I didn't think it would take this long. I really hope that she gets to be in the game, also because she hasn't been in a KOF game for such a long time, and KOF 15 has brought back so many characters that haven't been in the KOF series for a long time, so I hope she can be one of those characters who gets brought back in this game. Another character that I would like to see in KOF 15 is Jun. I feel like this is such a very underutilized character in the KOF series, at least one of the most underutilized characters. Jun is this really tall Korean man who specializes in Taekwondo. He is also a stance character just like Mei Li, and he is also a kicker. He is definitely one of those characters who's very difficult to play. This was a character who I didn't really play a lot in the KOF games that he appeared in because I just thought that he's a really big brain character. This isn't a character that everyone can pick up, but I still feel like I said, him being a stance character can bring so much to the game. I would also like to see his rivalry with Kim brought back. It would be cool if he could be in KOF 15 so that we can see his rivalry with Kim and what he thinks of Kim now, and also to see just how his fighting style has changed, or if they could bring any changes to his fighting style. Apparently he is also a fan of pop music and is a pop music enthusiast, and he's a fan of Athena, so maybe he can appear in KOF 15 and can actually get to meet Athena in person. Definitely a character who I feel like should be in the game, and I feel like a character that is very much deserving to be in KOF 15. I'm really shocked that Kasumi isn't in the game. Like, I feel like Kasumi is literally a fan favorite. Like, this is a character that fans really like. A lot of people play this character in the games that she appears, and a lot of people like this character. At some point, I'd say that she was one of the best girls in this KOF series. Kasumi's fighting style is a very simple and straightforward fighting style. It's not flashy or dramatic like the other characters, but it gets the job done. She was a character that I really liked seeing in KOF, even though her fighting style is not the most interesting to watch, but I don't know why, there's just something about her that I like. I feel like she's one of those characters who's long overdue and who I thought that she would be in the game by now. Literally, out of all the characters in this video, if there's a character who I thought would be in KOF 15 by now, it should have been Kasumi. It would be cool to also see if she can finally do that hidden super of hers without the help of her father. Maybe her fighting style or her fighting skill has improved to the point that she no longer needs him to do that super. That would be really cool. But definitely Kasumi should be in KOF 15, like, no doubt about it. Like, one of those characters who should be in this game, like, by all means necessary. Watching KOF 15, I can't help but think that something is missing, or rather someone is missing, and I know who that is. It's Diamond. Daimon is the character that's missing in this game. Daimon is this really tall, big Japanese judo practitioner who fits the grappler archetype in KOF. Seeing Benimaru and Kyo in this game without Daimon feels very strange because they're always on the same team, or they're usually on the same team in most KOF games. I was thinking there's someone missing in this game and their absence is felt, and it's definitely Daimon. Even though I don't play grapplers that much myself, I'm not the best at playing grapplers or using grapplers in fighting games, it definitely feels weird not to see Daimon in this game. I hope SNK hasn't forgotten him and plans to put him in the game because his absence is definitely felt. Bring back the tall Japanese man who is a grappler. Of course, there's so many characters who are like tall, big, and muscular, but definitely Diamond is one of those characters who has also appeared in a lot of KOF games, if not maybe every KOF game except the very first one. So it really feels weird that he's not in the game. And usually he's a character who's announced at the beginning of the game, like he's one of those characters who's on the roster at the beginning. He's not like a DLC character like that. So it really feels strange that he's not in the game. Even though I don't play this character, I hope he gets to be in the game, and I hope KOF isn't trying to like erase him from the game. Another character that I would like to see in KOF 15 is Marlene. I feel like a lot of people don't know this character. She hasn't really been in a lot of KOF games, but in the KOF game that I played her, I guess maybe that was KOF 2003, I liked her fighting style. I think that her fighting style has potential to have some really nasty mix-ups. Like she could be a really cool mix-up character, or she could be designed to be a set play character. But my biggest issue with her was that I felt like she had the tools but they weren't working the way they were supposed to work, or they weren't that effective. I feel like she's a character that if she were to be put in KOF 15 should have to have some major changes or some redesigns, because I feel like there's something there, it just doesn't work that well. She also has some animosity towards Yuri, so because Yuri thinks that her fighting style is cowardly, so it would be cool to see if what Yuri still thinks of her, if Yuri still thinks that she's a coward because of the way she fights, because she had a lot of mid-range and long-range moves. But yeah, it would be cool to see her interaction with Yuri again and what Yuri thinks of her now. I feel like she's also this character who's just in the background in a lot of KOF games, so it would be cool to see her come to the front for a bit. But I don't really expect her to make an appearance in KOF 15. I feel like she's just one of those characters who's just there, you know, like she's not really like a main character like that. She's just sort of like a background character in KOF. But it would be cool if she could make an appearance, but I feel like that's highly unlikely. A character that I think could appear in KOF 15 is Diana. So Diana is sort of this supporting character in Cooler's story. We don't really know much about her. She's more of like a mother figure to Cooler, and she's just always in the background. And I'd like to see SNK kind of develop a fighting style for her. Foxy was also a character who was always in the background, but they managed to give her a fighting style and to make her a playable character. And I think it would be cool if they could do the same for Diana. Instead of just making her a supporting background character in Cooler's story, it would be cool if we could see more of her personality and just to know more about her lore wise. I feel like there's so much to the character to unpack, and I feel like she could bring more to the story, and it would also be cool to see her interactions with Cooler in KOF 15. She's also a character who hasn't appeared even in the background of the stories in KOF for such a long time, so I feel like it would be cool if they could make her a playable character, not just a supporting background character. KOF has characters that have fire powers, ice powers, sand powers, lightning powers, even a character that can create tornadoes. But sometimes it's good to have a character who's just simple and basic. And that character is Shen Wu. Shen is just a character whose fighting style is just punching. All he does is punch really hard, but in a strange way he fits in the KOF universe. Like there's something interesting about a character who just hits hard, like that's his whole thing. His fighting style is very reckless, and it's also really simple and basic. but he's a character that in a way I'd still like to see him in KOF, and in this game KOF 15 in particular. Even though he's basic and is a simple-minded character, I still feel like he fits pretty well in the KOF universe, and I'd like to see him in the game, just to have a character who just punches really hard. Here are a list of characters who are some honorable mentions who I think could be in KOF 15. The first one is Bao. Maybe this Psycho Soldier can come back to the KOF series as a playable character, even though I have to say, one of the most annoying characters to fight. It's so hard to get in to fight him close face to face, and also the voice acting, like his voice in KOF 2002 especially, was getting on my nerves, probably the most annoying. No offense to the voice actor, but probably one of the most annoying characters to fight against, just because of the fighting style and the voice acting in particular. Who knows, maybe Bao can form a team with Kenso and Chin, and they could be Team Psycho Soldiers in KOF 15. Another character that I would like to see is Lin. I feel like Lin is just a forgotten character at this point in KOF, but I think he has a really cool character design, and I also feel like he could fill the space of the Poison character archetype in KOF, because they don't really have like a Poison character. Also, I'd also just want to see him in the game because I just want to know more about his clan and his lore, but one of the most unlikely characters to like appear, not just in KOF 15 but like in a KOF game, honestly. But it would be cool if they could put him in. And the last character that I think could be in KOF 15 is Xiang Fei. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I don't know, I just kind of like her fighting style, and she hits hard, she hits like a truck, and I feel like she has a place in this game. I feel like they can make it work, like they can at least try to put her in the game. And these are all the characters that I'd like to see in KOF 15. The King of Fighters has such a huge collection of characters in the game, and I feel like the developers have done a good job so far choosing so many fan favorites and forgotten characters to be in KOF 15. But I'd like to know, what are some of the characters that you think should be in the game, or some characters that you'd like to see to be in KOF 15? Tell me down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you. See you in the next one.